Hey guys, so I'm going to be talking about Dennis Lane's collection of short stories, Coronado. For those who are familiar with Dennis Lane, you know that he writes crime and detective fiction, but you also know that he writes more than just crime and detection. He writes about people, he writes characters, he writes about real life and the things that we go through and our hopes and dreams and aspirations, the negatives and the positives, and all the little details that fill out our lives, and the existential angst and joys that we feel. And that's what all these short stories are about. So as far as stylistically and genre-wise, while there is crime in these stories, and some of them are overtly about crime, he definitely takes a different approach with these. These stories are really nothing like his novels. He's experimenting with style, genre, and narrative structure, but they still are about characters. They're still about the usual themes and the usual everyday, realistic depiction of life that his stories, his novels have. And also, just as far as like location, most of Lane's writing is set in New England and Massachusetts and Boston. Most of these stories are set in the South, in Carolina or Texas, but while still having the same kind of stories that he writes. But not really, because they're not really about crime detection. As I've said, they're crime energy stories, and there is characters that commit crimes, and are criminals who are characters. They're really more about just people not knowing what to do, and not kind of wondering where they are in life, and wondering who they are, and wondering where they should go, which again is the theme in all of his writing. But it's a theme that's relatable because it's universal, because we are all in that boat. None of us know really who we are, where we're going. None of us, we all look back with regret at things. We all feel momentary, fleeting glimpses of happiness. We all have people we connect with and who we love. Some of them we lose, some of them that we still have. We dwell on happy memories. We anguish in sad memories. We feel sadness. We feel happiness, and all these stories talk about that in their own ways. As far as what the stories are about, they're disparate. One story is about a man who is wrongly being followed by some government agents, and he doesn't know why. Another story is about a girl who with their boyfriend decides to take revenge on the person that inadvertently caused her little sister to be killed, and realizes that her revenge isn't as fulfilling as she once thought it would be. Another story is about a guy who gets back from Nam in the 70s, and his kind of relationship to his wife, but also he has a lover on the side, but also he has a friend that he grew up with who is mentally deteriorating, and how all these things influence in these tragic series of events and influence him on the inside. The title story, Coronado, is a play in 2 acts, which is also based on another short story called Until Gwen, which is about a guy who just gets out of prison, and his father is a con man and a criminal, and he wants to know who his mother is. Now, the play Coronado expands on the themes of Until Gwen quite a bit, and introduces new characters and things, but it's essentially the same story, only the 2-act play is a little longer, and structurally more complex, and there's more going on in it. My favorite story is one called Gone Down to Corpus, and it's interesting because it's about a guy who just graduated high school. He doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, but he is dissatisfied because he doesn't know what he wants. And there's a passage in it that I feel not only reflects the stories in this book, but reflects all of Lane's writing. And I'm just going to read it to you because I think it sums up this book better than me rambling about it can. The passage says, "I lean back on the hood. I look up at the stars. I look up at the black, black sky. It's so quiet. And I think about what my daddy said about how he would have died earlier had he known what the world was going to bring. And I sort of get that now. I sort of do. To die. But not by my own hand. And not by some yellow man's neither. But somehow. And a big blaze that'll light up the dark sky. Something like that. That passage alone kind of sums up not only these short stories, but all of Lahane's writing, really, and all of the things, and the melancholic sadness within it. Even in his novels, all of his characters kind of have that melancholic tone, and they're usually very tragic, and these stories are all tragic. They can also be very funny at times, but overall, Lahane is a writer of drama, and these stories are very well written dramas indeed. So that's kind of just my recommendation, but it's a very, very good collection of short stories, and I highly recommend it. Especially if you already like Dennis Lahane's novels, like Mystic River, Gone Baby Gone. This is definitely a departure in style, but not really of substance of what he usually writes. But anyways, that's just my recommendation. Take that for what it's worth. I hope you guys like it, and I hope you guys check it out. And I'll try to be back with another video soon. I'm sorry I have not been able to post as often as I wanted to, but I'm working a lot, and I've just had other stuff going on too. So anyways, I'll see you guys later. Bye.